All right, everybody, how's it going? We are back with a Create SMP video, but you might not recognize this area. That is because this is the original season of the Create SMP. Now, this wasn't ever recorded. We never had any footage of this. We didn't stream it or anything like that. It was just a place where me and several of my friends built a Minecraft world together over the 2020 lockdown time. And really that's morphed and evolved into this Create SMP that a lot of you know and love now. And so I wanted to go through and show off the original stuff, show off where it all started. So we're just gonna take some time, walk through all the builds we did, all the builds that everyone else did, and you guys can just see it all and it'll finally be documented. All right, now for some context, this is running on 1.17. The server originally started before the Nether update, but then once the Nether update happened, we transitioned to that and reset the Nether. So that's about the time frame where this server takes place. And this area here is called, I think it's called Peony Palace. This is kind of our Nether room. You know, we were all pretty new to intense Minecraft builds, and I think you might notice that a lot of the builds are not as detailed as something that we've done in season 5, but they're still pretty awesome. This was the pride and joy of the server, was this map. So every build that anyone made was on this map. We made sure of it. So here we can see Peony Palace here in the middle. Over here we've got the Japanese area built by Applejacks. There's a seaside town I built over here. Pompeii, the volcano city. We also had a little shopping district here in the middle and a town hall area that was supposed to be like the server spawn. This was like my redstone industrial area. And then if we go this way, one of my friends built a airbender village here. And if we go further over, we can see there's this thing here. We'll get to that eventually, but this is like a cool underground magic city that never really got finished, but got started. And then believe that there's a base way up here in the corner. I don't know how we can really even see it. Might be just on the oh, there it is. It's this river here, so we'll check that out as we get over there. Then there's some builds over here, some stuff over here. You can see a lot of it's not finished. Unfortunately, this world kind of just died on us once we ran out of time to play, so it's kind of frozen in a state. But there's just a lot of cool stuff here, and I want to showcase it. This was like the throne room of Peony Palace. We had this fun little thing in here where if you put a bunch of maps from the end, it makes them completely white and you can't see anything. So you could trap someone in there if you wanted to put them in jail for a bit. This was like the kitchen area, little pantry, and this whole area was built on a big mountain that we mined out. You can see this wall here of Peony Palace, and this is one of my favorite builds from the server by far, is this wall, because it was the first time I did like variation blocks in a build, and I think it turned out super well. Bees were very new when we very first started this, so having the honey blocks in the wall was kind of exciting and new. You can see the honey blocks in there. We're in creative, so we can fly up and give it a good look. But this is kind of the first main build, and then this is the plaza of Peony Palace. So we've got little flowery area. There were homes for villagers. I made like the entire area lit up. There was no way for any monsters to get in, so all these villagers could live safely. These were some like automatic redstone farms. We had an automatic chicken farm here. There was automatic wool. There was this XP cactus farm. This was like a place to trap creepers so we could get music discs. And then if we go over this way, we can see there's like this little side area with a barn for animals, and there was a room here for the librarian. This was just a house for villagers. We kind of had this library room here where we had the mending villagers living and such. That guy's got a dragon head on for some reason. Just some fun little builds, different styles, little chest in the tree. I had no idea why that's there. This barn looks awesome. I love this barn. We'll get to that over there in a minute. This had a little tractor in it. Had some good stuff. I think this was an automatic minecart emptier that had like a sorter and would empty out stuff from the farm. Like the minecart track goes under the ground and over to that farm over there. All kind of fun. I had a cool item sorter over here. Automatically sorted a bunch of items. None of the item frames made it through the oh, no, these did. Look at that. Didn't even know this was down here. Goes to show you how much you can forget sometimes. So if we fly over here, we can see a little bridge. There's a little area for some bees. And then this path takes us over to Applejack's base. So he was pretty prominent on season 5. You all probably saw him in my videos. He made this amazing, amazing traditional Japanese building. And this was used as the logo for the server for seasons 1 through 3. So it's been one of the server's best builds in all of history. And there are some more buildings here with this pink tree and kind of just his area here. He had started working on this giant mountain build, but it never came to fruition, just like a lot of the builds on this server. But it still looks pretty cool how it is. Over here we can see the seaside village. So I built this area. I made like this fancy sandcastle, little walkway where we've got fish swimming above us, which I thought was kind of neat. It's a little bit of a head hitter, but it's all right. And then this cool battleship that I built, I built it block by block based on a tutorial, so don't think that I did it on my own, but I still think it turned out really cool. And then a nice little redstone lamp. What do you call those? A lighthouse. Duh. And if we continue this way, we can follow the path. We made sure to path everything up because of wanting to make sure that it stayed as like a nice map. I want to touch on one thing over here. This jungle we built. There were no jungles on our map, so we brought one and made one. And over here we had a little quarry with this crane that's like pulling gold out of the quarry. We just tried to add depth wherever we could. Back over here at Peony Palace, there was a food shop here. It's like a restaurant, and you could pick which food you wanted and hit the button, and it would send that food over. Oh, it works. There you go. So that's a fun little redstone thing I had going. We go up this way, we'll see the shopping district. So there's like a mob farm underneath here. This was a effort to collect all of the mini blocks in the game. So I would pay this many diamonds for X mini block head if you could get it. Some of them were rarer than others, so they were worth more, and we never got all of them, but it was fun. Here we've got a boat shop where some stuff was sold. This was like a nether shop where some things were sold. And then if we go this way, we can see, I'm gonna make it day. This over here was my big project I was working on when the server kind of died out, and you can see all the chests all full of stuff. Well, not really, but I was building a giant custom forest, and I think it looks so cool in here, and I put a lot of time into building all of these custom trees, and I think I've expressed my difficulty in building custom trees before, and they all turned out pretty nicely. Unfortunately, however, I didn't get to all of them. There were a lot, and previously this was all like mountain. All of this was like mountainous terrain, and I had flattened it all out and re-terraformed it in order to make this fully custom area. And so you could see I had started to build these crop plots with these windmills, and it didn't make it. You know, we ran out of interest and time, and then we got busy, and so it never got finished, but it was pretty cool while it was going. Back over toward the seaside village, we have this Pompeii, this volcano village. So I built the ground to look like it was all soot. They had a cool rainbow, or a cool red pyramid in the middle. This was a super smelter up here, and we had some other buildings. There were also villagers living in this town, and they couldn't get in the lava. They were protected. And so they had like a town life. And then there was this big volcano. And then this was another one of my big projects, was this giant Colosseum. And so I made this huge Colosseum, and I put a dragon head in the center. And there was like some loot down there that people could use to like come here and battle if they wanted, with doors that opened and closed to let monsters out. it was pretty cool. It was a big project. It took a lot of time building it, and you could see, you know, it's not that detailed, but it's large. And back then I was just building large, and that was kind of the style I enjoyed. There's a chance that this makes an appearance in season 5.5. We've talked about porting that over as the Pokemon Battle Arena for that season, which could be kind of fun. We'll see if that happens or not. When we get over here, we see my industrial district. Now, many of you Hermitcraft watchers might recognize the path to ground of the industrial district as a mumbo jumbo thing. I definitely took some inspiration from it, but this farm, this was really cool. I really like this one. So all of these farms have these pipes which lead all their items over and toss them into this big pit. And then in this big pit, there's a slime block that launches everything, and it makes its way into a water elevator and makes its way up into the sorting system. And let me tell you, I got a lot of stuff in here. It was quite the efficient system. And this was a fun little elevator that, ooh, I might have trapped myself, that could take you up to the storage area. So we got like sugarcane, iron, bamboo, and then this was the elevator. So if you walk onto it, takes you on up. And, oh, I just saw an item go up, so everything's still running, which is kind of nice. Oh, and then it goes back down, so you got to step off. Here was a item silo, so you can see how much bamboo we have, and this thing is like gigantic on the inside. Let me just go into spectator real quick. This can hold a lot of bamboo. There's a lot of double chests in here, and all of that bamboo funnels into this super smelter, which it's just too big because you know, you can smelt 2 stacks at a time in here, but then the hoppers take so long to bring it over that like you max out on hopper speed. So it wasn't actually that efficient, but it does look impressive. And so, you know, let's not worry about how efficient it actually was. We go over this way, we'll see Town Hall. So when we transitioned this season from season 1 to season 2, we were hoping to make a new world spawn and invite a bunch of new people in, and that kind of never happened. So season 2 ended up being its own server, but we were building a town hall to get ready for it. So this was like this big thing. There's actually a clock in here that changes, so you can see it's daytime and it switches to nighttime. So that was kind of neat. There's this big town hall with all of the cities. So these are all the city banners. So like Peony Palace is the B, and then the Pompeii is this one, Seaside Village, the Japanese Village. Every one of the towns had a banner, and they were all featured on that map at the Peony Palace. And then these were all like the players, Applejacks, Old Skin, De Wilmster. And so we all like kind of had this cool area at spawn. And this was Applejack's build. He was building a like guild hall essentially. So he was working on this, but it never got finished. There was this big pink tree here which looked kind of cool, and this was like a wood lumber yard where there was a bunch of different types of wood. Working on like a meat plant in here, kind of gruesome, but also, you know, kind of neat. I think that's it for this area. We head on this way though, we will see the Airbender area. This was built by one of the players on the server, and it's this cool floating island airbender temple kind of thing from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it got pretty much finished. I think it's super cool looking. They didn't play for too long, but they did play long enough to leave us with that little gem. If we continue on this way, we'll see that hole I was showing you on the map that led to the underground magical village. It never really got finished, but we can show off the vision a little bit. There was this beanstalk growing up it, and then there was going to be a whole little village under here, but only the beanstalk got completed before we kind of ran out of interest on the server. As we fly a little bit further west, we come across that river I showed you. This was another one of the players' bases, and it turned out pretty good. It again, you know, it never got finished, but there was this cool little staircase up and down, and then when you got to different layers, there was different areas. So, you know, we got smelters and stuff here. We drop on down a little further. There was, oh, nothing. Well, there's one cool room here, and the staircase is pretty cool. They also didn't play for too long. we've had a pretty consistent issue on these servers with keeping people interested for a while, and that's why season 5 was so great. It's because everyone stuck around and had fun. If we pop into the Nether, we can see that we had a infinitely fast Nether highway, and it takes you through all the towns, and they're all named, so you can teleport from one to another. There's different pathways to show where everything is and help everyone get there, along with like the acacia biomes that way. If anyone wants to go to an acacia biome, Spawn Town is here. Earth Temple Pompeii. I don't think there's anything we haven't shown yet. I think that's about it. But, oh, Earth Temple. We haven't shown the Earth Temple yet. We had plans to make the floor of this Nether area like a map of the overworld. So you would say, like, you'd be walking across it and you'd see, like, oh, I'm crossing over a forest and a river. But doing the math and everything, it just got too difficult and we weren't able to pull it off. And time kind of ran out before we got that finished. Here's the Earth Temple. We also had like several avatar villages. We kind of had like the seaside town was the water temple, and then we had the fiery Pompeii village and the air temple, and this was supposed to be the Earth Temple. They joined pretty late in the server's life, and there wasn't much time to stick around afterwards, but it's still worth noting that it's here. Well, that's pretty much it. If we head over this way, we'll run back into Peony Palace. It's so cool that we still have this world from so long ago, and we thought it was lost, and then the bit effect, one of the mods, the tech guy on the Create SMP season 5, he still had a copy of it lying around and sent it to us all, and it's very nostalgic looking at all this. I mean, I did a calculation. I spent some 800 hours on this server. It was a large part of my time was spent doing this, and to see it all here kind of immortalized, and to see what the Create SMP is turning into and what I hope to see it turn into in the future, it all started from here, and it's exciting to see it and still have it here with us, and now I get to share this with you guys. So let me know which of your favorite towns you like, which town you like the best, which one was your favorite, and just tell me what you think we should do on season 6. You know, we're building it right now. There's still time for input. It's going to be a like medieval style magic fantasy guild war kind of season, and so if you've got any ideas, let us know in the comments, and we there's a good chance we can implement them. So thank you all for watching. Keep an eye out for season 5.5 starting soon, and I will see you in the next video.